What is up, you guys? I am cleaning my little table here, so I was like, you know what, might as well record and catch up with you guys. So here we are. So this past weekend was the sober.
The event was on June 8th. I filmed this last week. Also, I forgot to introduce myself. So hi, I am Tara, a former 12-stepping, big book thumper turned cannabis smoking, harm reductionist.
Cornhole tournament that I had my little table at. It was so windy, it kept knocking my display down, so I had to take most of my stuff down, but I'll insert a little clip of it here.
These, a couple of them, because nothing will stay on the table. The wind completely killed my display. I had to put like everything away because the wind just keeps knocking it down. But
so nothing crazy happened, no, crazy conversations or anything. People were really cool and appreciative of it. There were plenty of people that said they had plenty of Narcan, and there were plenty of people that were excited to take it. There was one girl that was in a sober living that I gave several to, like maybe like 10 doses, because she was saying that they only had one box left at the sober living house, and that she likes to at least give girls, if girls end up taking off early, than they intended. She said sometimes they come for a couple days and they're like, F this, and they leave. So she likes to give the girls some stuff, which I think is great. But it gave me an idea that I want to sort of put something together where I could do an overdose training and then just like give sober living homes a bunch of Narcan, right? Like, so that they can keep it in the closet and just have it, and then have the girls that are in the home all trained on how to use it, have a little refresher course, and just have an open dialogue about drugs, especially with the newer stuff in the supply, like the xylazine, and kind of have conversations about that. I think that there probably will be a lot of sober living homes that aren't open to it because they're going to think that it's opening the door to, or kind of letting people think that it's okay to use, because I know the way some of these places think. But really, it's just, I was having this conversation with somebody at the thing on Saturday. I said, I was lucky. I got to use OCs and transition to heroin, and then at the end there was some fentanyl, and that's what actually helped me to really be like, this isn't even worth it, because the high was different from what I was used to. It wasn't the same shit. I didn't feel like it was worth throwing my life away anymore, right? I had so many chances. Like I can't even tell you how many times I relapsed, right? I had so many chances, and I only had 4 overdoses, and that was towards the end because the supply had switched to fentanyl. People now, like some of these people's stories, they have like 50 overdoses just because the supply is so different now, so deadly. So using these same practices that we were using even just 10-15 years ago, we can't do that. We're going to lose too many more people, because what I noticed at this event is that there's so many great resources for people when they're ready to stop using, right? But what about the people? And here's the thing, is that every person who is in recovery remembers a time when they weren't ready to stop using, right? It's not like you get to this place really quick, because if it is, then substance use disorder wouldn't be that big of a deal. If when it got bad, people stopped using. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's what makes substance use disorder. Substance use disorder is continuing to use despite the negative consequences, right? Stories now, and they, if they're lucky, they've had like 50 overdoses. There's so many people who they overdosed and they didn't make it. Like, so it's just, I'm supposed to be cleaning and I'm just sitting here talking, but I guess I should be focusing on talking. And I get a little bit of stuff done while I'm sitting here. But yeah, so what this, going there really made me realize is that we need more representation out, like, of the harm reduction services in these recovery events, because there is a huge gap between using drugs and going to sober living. We need more, like, harm reduction needs to be incorporated more into all of these places that have, like, that are recovery places, right? And I understand that a lot of these places come from a place of, like, it has to be 100% abstinence, no, medication, no nothing, this, that, and the other thing. I mean, I've seen where the sober house rules are, you must get a sponsor and work the steps, and every house has a right to operate how they want. I mean, I guess, right? That's apparently, and I do think that we need more oversight, and there needs to be more sober living that doesn't operate from a 12-step, because like obviously Oxford houses are going to operate and from a 12-step way because they go hand in hand, but we need more sober living options that rely on evidence-based treatment and believe in evidence-based treatment. And I think there are a lot of places that kind of use they act like they're open to harm reduction, but they're really shoving dogma down, 12-step dogma down people's throats. So going to this event just showed me that I do need to be in the recovery community space because I need to help bridge this gap. So yeah, I really gotta figure, just another one of the many things that I want to do, right? And I've been really working on, I don't know if I shared this on here, I know I shared it on TikTok, but I started Atomic Habits. I think this is going to be really good for me if I can just get through the book and then do the exercises and apply it. This book is built on like how the brain works, like with the habit stacking and stuff that I've kind of tried before, but I had no real plan. I'm kind of using this and another book called Eat That Frog, and kind of putting together how I'm gonna get my shit together. Like how am I going to execute? I mean, like I said, I have all these video ideas that I have, and then I just don't end up doing them. And I think a lot of it is because I have so many things I want to do, but I need to like put together, okay, like what task is the most important, and like let's just go through and let's just do our thing, and I don't know. I wish all the time that I spent in rehab thinking that I had all of these like things that I struggle with today that I thought were my disease and my spiritual malady. I wish I had known that it was just part of, being neurodivergent and having ADHD. These were all things I was trying to like pray away because I thought it was part of my disease. It's just, imagine if had I been working on these actual issues that I have that whole time rather than writing inventory about it and asking God to remove it. Maybe I could actually complete a to-do list at almost 39 years old. I'll be 39 in October. But anyways, just wanted to check in and let you guys know how that event went. I really am trying to get it together because I do have so many things I want to talk about and just get the conversation out there so that people can hear something different. Because that's the other thing I realized too, being there, is that I think a lot of people who get into the work because they want to actually help people are open to hearing something else, but they've just been in the same echo chamber hearing the same shit over and over again, so they believe that's what has to be done to help people. But once they can see something else, they're like, oh wow, like that does make sense. So as hard as it is, I don't think like to get a lot of the super indoctrinated people, as hard as it is to get them on to even understand anything that we're saying, I think there's a lot of people who aren't fully indoctrinated. They're just practicing that way of living because they think that's what recovery has to be. But if they were exposed to something different, they would be open to incorporating it. So we'll see. There's a lot of fucking work to do. There's a lot of work.